You'll have started to learn. You'll have heard it so many times that the things that don't feel natural to you now, when I make these comments, they're so natural. Do you promise? You know, they're easy for me. They'll start to feel more natural for you when you've heard it and heard it and heard it and heard it and heard it. When you know what my next phrase is that's going to be said before it comes out. Then we have to remember this. Cicero said that the skill to do comes from the doing. And so it's one thing to gather knowledge. You have to have the knowledge first, but then we begin to act on the knowledge. Now this next bit, almost nobody in this room is going to do it. Almost nobody will. But somebody might. And those who do, I mean, I've shown you the lock. I'm giving you the key. I'll show you how to stick the key in the lock. The skill to do comes from the doing. Now here's what I want you to do, Randy. I want you to go to your candidate list. And I'd like you to not just listen to the invitation, but go to the printed scripts. On the website, you can find the actual printed out scripts. Because you wouldn't say the same thing to your brother that you would say to somebody that you work with who's not related. You wouldn't say the same thing to your boss as you would say to someone who happens to be your employee. You wouldn't say the same thing to somebody you play golf with as somebody that you go to church with, whatever, right? I mean, a different relationship would require different content. So I want you to now take the invitation scripts. I want you to listen and listen and listen. Compare the script to your candidate list, and then get a handheld recording device. And I want you to say to the recording device what you would say to a prospect. You know, Nathan, again, I owe him so much. All those years ago, Nathan said, Randy, I want you to know you're bringing one thing only to this party. If you don't know how to do network marketing, what you're bringing to the party are a group of names that you know that I don't know. That's what you're bringing. That's the asset you're bringing. And so it's really important that you not screw those up. You need to learn how to fight. And so he said, before you talk to any real people, he asked me if I had a dog. I did have it. I asked him to have it. His name was Fido. He did. He said, Randy, I want you to invite Fido 200 times before you invite a real person. And I want you to listen. And you know what? That was worth a few $1 million to me. Because that's what I did. I listened and I listened and I listened and I listened to the way that I sounded. And as I listened, then I had to ask myself, if this kind of relationship said these words with this tone of voice, with this posture and conviction, would I or would I not take the requested action? Would I or wouldn't I? You know, so much now of what I say and do is captured on audio or video. And I watch and listen to all of it. Not because I enjoy listening to myself, but I do it because I want to find out have I fallen into some faulty word pattern. If I'm up here and you're hearing me say, and, but, like. If there's something I'm saying, I like to repeat it a few times, and that's what you're hearing. The message gets lost in a faulty word pattern. And you know, I'm a network marketing professional. By the way, what's the difference in a professional and an amateur? Professionals get paid, amateurs do it for free. There are very, very, very few network marketing professionals. The world is full of network marketing amateurs. If you will learn these few things that I'm teaching right now, these are the things that separate the professionals from the amateurs. If you will learn how to invite, if you'll actually take that handheld recording device. I asked you earlier if I could show you specifically and exactly and absolutely how to succeed. Are you willing? And you all said I'm willing. A lot of you in this room have heard me teach this. How many of you got a handheld recording device and have actually said it? Listen to yourself. You have. That's good. That's good. I like that. Okay, so I want you to learn how to invite. And why do I want you to learn how to invite? Because if you learn how to invite, your candidate's going to see an opportunity. And if your candidate sees an opportunity, I believe he or she will join us. If you don't learn how to invite, our candidate is going to see your current lack of success, whether it's been a long time in the business or one that hasn't even started yet. And if that's what they see, they probably won't join. And so the stakes here are really, really high. Now the stakes are really high. And if you do nothing else right, but if you get this right, you'll succeed. Okay, now the next one. Where's it your first look? This one? You know, I know that there's room for individual expression. But what I do on purpose. I want you to know that everything, all of my successes are either born of some past, everything I'm teaching you is either born of some past success or some past failure. Most likely it is born of some past failure. I can tell you that what I've done is I've been willing to stub my nose again and again and again and again and again. I've just been willing to just push and push and push and push and just poke and prod my way around until I find what works. One of the things that I learned years ago, I was watching Zig Ziglar at one of his conferences. How many of you guys have listened to Zig? You ever been to one of his functions? Remember, he's got this water pump. He stands up there and he pumps and he pumps and he pumps and he pumps. And he's saying how excited he is every time somebody tells him no, because that means he's getting closer to the next yes. And I thought, that's the biggest bunch of crap I've ever heard. I mean, I don't ever want to get told no. There never came a time when getting told no felt better to me. Rejection doesn't feel any better to me today than it felt all those years ago. I only want to get told yes. Here's what I learned. If I only want to get told yes, then I've got to ask people to make very small decisions. If I ask people to make large decisions, I can anticipate being told no. And when I'm told no, I don't like the way that it feels. And so because that's true, I created a process that resulted in me literally never being told no. I'm never told no. That works for me. You get to decide for yourself how much pain you want to endure. I'm serious. I mean, the bigger decisions you ask people to make, the more you'll be told no, and the more pain you'll have to endure. The smaller decisions you ask people to make, the less you'll be told no, the more you'll be told yes, and the easier it becomes. I believe that all those people who quit, that get involved, and that are gone in a matter of weeks, it's because they asked people to make decisions that were too big. It's because they didn't believe, so on and so on and so on. And so, people ask me all the time, what do I think should be somebody's first look at Montevideo? Conveniently enough, it's called Your First Look. It's not hard to figure out. It's called Your First Look. That's what I think it should be. And the reason is because it lets a person make the smallest possible decision. Have you listened to this? No? Yes?
Will I?
Have you? He says no, he hasn't listened to it. Okay? It's all right.
Which one is it?
Your First Look.
Yes.
But yeah, listen to it. Okay. Have you listened to this, Randy? Okay. Now, first of all, I want you to imagine now that you've got a candidate list and that you've become scripted a little bit. This is the way that I invite. And I'll teach you the components of a basic invitation. Randy, I've only met you a little while ago, but I know a few things about you. I know that you've got some poise and some posture. I know that you've had some success elsewhere in your life, and you seem very eager to succeed in this process. If I could show you how to turn those natural attributes into a greater outcome for you and your family, would you be willing to invest 7 minutes to listen to this CD? And if, Randy, I was to give you this CD, could I anticipate you're listening to it tonight, such that it would be appropriate for me to call you tomorrow morning to talk about it?
Yes.
Great. And Randy, I want you to know this will be only 8 minutes of content. It won't take much time. I ask you to listen to it with eager anticipation of what we might accomplish together, and I'll call you tomorrow morning at 10. Fair enough? Okay, that's what I do. My invitation is this long. Your invitation is this long. Great. What I want to do is I want to say the least I can possibly say so that I can stop talking and let the tool start talking. I want to say the least I can possibly say. What were the components of a proper invitation? First of all, I was paying attention. I knew that in order for me to properly invite, I would have to positively affirm or compliment. And so I've been watching. If I was going to use Randy as an example, what are some things that I could say that would be correct? Flattery doesn't work. Flattery's fake, doesn't feel right. But if I'm paying attention, I can find a legitimate, sincere compliment. So the first thing is I'm paying attention. The second thing is that I compliment. The third thing is that it's very, very brief. The fourth thing is that it puts a timeline on when you will listen. The fifth thing is it sets a time for me to call back. And finally, it established a very, very small decision. This is 8 minutes long. And it's about you and your family. Those are the components of a proper invitation. Now, if I call Randy back and I say, Randy, did you listen? If he tells me no, what's he telling me? He doesn't know if he's interested. He hasn't listened. He's saying, Randy, you don't know how to invite. Don't screw up any more prospects. That's the truth. That's what he's saying. He doesn't know if he's interested. He didn't listen.